Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Johnson, the TSA spends more than $7 billion a year, and yet I cannot find one single instance that the agency has stopped a terrorist attack. Instead, what I find is story after story of a bloated bureaucracy that uses over-the-top tactics to violate Americans' civil rights and liberties. Some particularly disturbing examples include past complaints of TSA workers in San Diego administering an invasive pat-down to a 95-year-old wheelchair-bound Air Force veteran and his 85-year-old female companion, during which time they allegedly stole $300 in cash from the Air Force veteran's possessions. A TSA agent in Kauai, Hawaii, forcing a nursing mother to openly demonstrate her breast milk pump in a public restroom to prove that it was real. And just 1 month ago, TSA workers were accused of humiliating a cancer victim who was wearing an adult incontinence pad. Beyond these accounts, other reports cast serious doubts over the TSA's effectiveness in their mission. For instance, coverage by ABC in 2011 detailed a 70% failure rate on gun and knife detection. Failure to detect a simulated explosive on an undercover agent was widely reported in March of last year. A 2013 GAO report showed that the billion-dollar behavioral detection program is no better than just random chance. Another GAO report from last year detailed an outrageous 26% increase in misconduct by TSA employees between 2010 and 2012, a quarter of which involved screening and security failures, including sleeping on the job. In my opinion, we owe the American taxpayers better than to see their money demonstrably wasted and the American traveler better protection than the proven ineffective techniques and technologies employed by the TSA. Taking all of this into account, I have several questions. Please answer them quickly because I have several. Do you believe that the cost of this program is still completely justified?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Do you believe that the cost, let's see, are you open to expanding the privatization pilot program that has proven to be very successful in 14 different airports around the country?
I am committed to considering whatever is an efficient and effective use of taxpayer dollars that enhances aviation security.
Well, those privatization, I apologize for cutting you off, Secretary, but I've got, like I said, a lot of questions. Those have proven very effective, and TSA has held up the privatization program. And more broadly, considering that airports have the greatest incentive to protect their planes and passengers, and would not be as susceptible to these same lackadaisical security failures and ineffective decision-making that seems to plague the TSA, would you be open to full privatization of the program?
Of the entire TSA mission?
Yes, sir.
No, I would not be.
Well, I would like to talk with you about that because I think it would be much more effective to totally privatize it, and I think it would be a whole lot safer for the American traveler and better for the taxpayer, too. I'm going to go back to a question asked by my good friend from Mississippi because I believe this idea of the pre-clearance in Abu Dhabi is a bad policy, and I hope that you and I can discuss that because I'm very, very concerned about that. I don't think it's good policy, and I'd like your assurance that we can work on this because I'd like to see that policy changed and something else happen if we could have that discussion.
I'm happy to have that discussion with you.
Very good. Refugee policy and relocation. In Georgia, we're having a tremendous problem with the relocation. I have tremendous questions going back to what the chairman was asking you about the vetting. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it was Mr. Smith who was asking you about the vetting of these people. We're getting a tremendous number of refugees into my home state of Georgia, and it's causing a tremendous concern within Georgians. A lot of them are coming within the Atlanta area, and I believe pose a very real security threat to people in Atlanta and people in Georgia and people in this nation. So I'd like to work with you about that too. The final question is on the 287G program. What's your long-term thoughts about that program?
My long-term thought is we need to do a better job of working with state and local law enforcement in their support for our Homeland Security mission. In various places in the country, we don't have such a good relationship, and through that kind of program, and so working with state and local law enforcement through grant programs and other programs of a similar nature, I think is key, given how the Homeland Security mission is evolving.
I'd like to see that continue. Mr. Chairman, I yield back. Thank you, sir.